Hi, I'm Kathy Redford with Synergy Technical. Welcome to our virtual cafe. Today, I would like to welcome Karrie Southall, Chief Operating Officer with RiverFront Investment Group. Karrie, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you
And
for having me.
sure, and could you tell us a little bit about your role at RiverFront as well as the services that your firm offers?
Sure. As you mentioned, I'm the Chief Operating Officer at RiverFront Investment Group, and that basically encompasses all things related to trading and operations, compliance, HR, finance, and IT. So, kind of the core running of the business. RiverFront is a global asset allocation manager. We distribute our strategies through financial advisors because we firmly believe in the relationship that financial advisors have with their clients. We also run a series of ETF, actively managed ETFs and mutual funds. We've been in existence since 2008. When we started out, we had about 15 employees. We
Wow.
now have about 47 and are managing around 7 billion in assets. So it's been a lot of
Awesome.
fun, a lot of hard work, but great business to be in.
That's amazing growth. So before we go too far down the business path, how is your family making out with the pandemic and all the COVID changes?
Sure. Well, my husband is a battalion chief in the fire department. So
Oh,
for him,
wow.
life has not really changed at all, work-wise, because he still goes into work every time he's on duty. I'd say probably for him, it's changed just having us all at home and working from home and the kids distance learning from home for March, April, and May. Um, I have two teenagers. So for them, I think it's been a bit of a struggle not being able to connect with their friends. It's so funny because we joke about how the younger generations are so attached to their screens. And my children finally, probably a month into quarantine, we're like, we just want to see our friends in person. We just need that interaction. I mean, humans crave that interaction. And I could totally tell, about a month into it that mentally they were just not dealing well with being quarantined. So now that things are opening back up, it's nice to see them interacting with their friends. Plus, as teenagers, you think about it, you're finally getting a little bit of independence, and then suddenly somebody comes in and takes it all away from you. So it's nice to see them with smiles on their face and going to the pools again and interacting sports wise. So that's been really nice.
Wow. And thank you, because obviously you're supporting your husband's efforts, and he's certainly a hero in all of this. And I'm sure he's on the front line of so much of this. Uh,
Absolutely.
that's really pretty amazing that he's doing that. So when we get back to work and we're looking at COVID and the impact, um, gosh, I don't know how many weeks this has been going on, 14, 16. I mean, they're running
Lost
together
count.
now.
Yeah.
How did you all, your employees adapt to working remotely? How has that gone?
Well, it's gone really well. I will say last year we instituted a formal telecommuting policy. So we had a bunch of associates that were working from home 1 to 2 days a week on a regular basis. We also had a couple of associates that moved out of Richmond, Virginia, to other states, so they were working remotely. And we have about 5 or 6 other associates that work 100% remotely as it is. So we were already dabbling into it. So I'd say it's really been actually rather seamless having folks work from home. It really it's been amazing. Like I don't think that it could have gone any better than it has. We were lucky in that we were so well prepared.
Yeah. It's been an interesting, because of the technology that we implement, we're well positioned, just as you guys seem to have been very nimble and really pivoted very quickly to a remote workforce. What do you, I don't know, from a transition point of view, do you anticipate heading back to the office? Do you think it will be business as usual pre-COVID, or do you think it will be a little bit different heading back?
I don't think we're going to get to business as usual pre-COVID for quite some time. We have asked all of our associates to continue working remotely through Labor Day. So we're going to kind of reassess the situation come early August and decide if we're going to extend that or if we're going to start bringing associates back in smaller groups. We have a very open office architecture, like a lot of firms that opened up in the last 10 years. It was that open collaborative space. We have no offices. So one of the struggles that we have is how do you bring people back in and have everybody be safe? Does everybody need to wear a mask? Can they be in conference rooms together?
Sure.
And we kind of have to outweigh the benefits with the risk and say, if this is working, having people work at home, when and should we bring folks back in? Again, keeping in mind that human connection, that human interaction is so vital. So it's just trying to, weigh all of the pros and cons of it. We actually have a meeting in early August with a doctor with Partner MD to help us kind of give us a little bit of guidance about what we should be thinking about. We did this in May when we decided to close the office for the summer. And we have had associates we've had a handful of associates that go into the office, some every single day. And then a couple that go in, myself included, once a week, once every 2 weeks. But we don't have, I think in the office in Richmond, we have probably about 40, I'd say maybe 41, 42 associates. And we have asked that no more than 10 be in the building at a given time. And I don't think we've come close to that. So.
Yeah, interesting. So you mentioned your culture. What about morale? What are some of the things you guys are doing around morale and keeping that feeling of connection while people are remote and working in multiple places?
Sure. Well, we've been doing before restaurants and things started opening back up, we started doing virtual happy hours. We do we call it virtual coffee talk, kind of similar to this, but we do it every Tuesday morning. It's led by one of the members of our executive committee. It's 30 minutes. It's not required, but it's just come in, check in, let's talk about what's going on. There's really no agenda. It's just really a chance for people to connect that wouldn't necessarily otherwise connect in another meeting or on another project. We have also, prior to being quarantined, we used to bring a local yoga instructor into our office building and have a yoga class from 4:30 to 5:30 once a month. So we've made those virtual yoga classes as well. And then our CEO actually sent out $50 gift cards to every associate at the firm to basically say, go buy yourself a meal for your family. So it's one less thing you have to think about, or spend it however you want. So that's been great.
Yeah, what a neat culture. I mean, you guys, you can feel it when you walk in and when you work with your team that everyone is so connected. So if you had a crystal ball a year ago, is there anything you might have done at that time had you known that we would be dealing with a pandemic?
It's funny you say that. It's almost like our IT department had a crystal ball because they really pushed for us to adopt and train on the Microsoft Teams application last year. We actually had Synergy come in and do a training for our entire firm on kind of the basics. Obviously, there's so many different aspects of Teams, but it was really just the basics of how you get up and running in Teams. And as just like any new technology, some folks were slower than others to adapt to the technology, but we were really starting to integrate it into our daily workflows. So when the COVID quarantine hit in March, we really, like I said, it was basically seamless. Those who had been dabbling in Teams got right up to speed pretty quickly. Others were training folks on how to use it if they hadn't really started to adopt it. And within a week, it was almost like everybody had been using Teams for years. It was great. But the collaboration tools in Teams, the chat feature, all of that has really helped us and enabled us to be connected during this time. I'm not sure how we would have done it if we didn't have that. Maybe we would have, gotten a Zoom account or something. But I think having everything housed inside Teams has really been a game changer for us.
Yeah. Is there any other technology, or would you say that's probably the leading game changer for you? Is there anything else that?
No, I'd say it's a leading game changer for us. Really just with the being able to manage projects remotely, the features that are in there, like I said, the collaboration tools, all of which, I mean, and the video feature is fantastic. You know, I think when we first started using this remotely, I think you could see 4 faces on the screen. I started dabbling using Zoom for some personal happy hours and meetings. And I love that you could see 25 people. So it's great to see the Teams has increased that to 9 faces on a screen. And I'm looking forward to when they're going to put 25 on the screen.
And they've got more coming. The other thing I think is going to be really interesting is breakout rooms.
That too, yes.
And that's on the roadmap as well. So we're excited about that. And we see a number of use cases for clients. So you guys have really pivoted well. You were a bit clairvoyant in your vision for the company and where you were headed. And I mean, thanks for sharing your story. I think this will help other people as we're all transitioning through this together. But you guys are really doing good work. And with the volatile financial markets on top of the pandemic, the way that you're connected and you connect with your clients and you y'all connect with the community. Y'all are a very generous firm. It's really neat to see and to be a small part of. So thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Kathy.